Hello, and welcome back to the Going Off Track podcast. I'm Kathryn, that's Emily, and we're finally back.
We are back. Yay.
Yeah. So, in case you did not notice, we did not do a reaction episode for Hungary for a number of reasons. I was closing down camp and ended up having a typical Kathryn end of summer was insert adjective here, plus the best meal of my life. TM, whatever. And Emily has been super busy. So should we just cap off Hungary real quick? In it was not a great race.
Here's my recap of Hungary. It wasn't a fun race. It sucked. Ferrari still needs to get their shit in order. The end.
Yeah, I mean there wasn't much that Hungary or that Ferrari could do during the summer break because it is a shutdown. Nobody was working, but Ferrari has a lot of work to do to recover from not just, Lewis Hamilton continuing to struggle in the car, but Charles Leclerc typically loses from pole because the guy behind him is better. See also Max Verstappen. This was not the case in Hungary. In Hungary, like the car just betrayed him, and they're not going to be able to maintain P2 in the championship if they're going to keep having nightmare races like Hungary.
Nope. End of story.
Yeah.
Ferrari is screwed.
But yeah, that was Hungary. And so before we dive into the obvious news of the week, I do have a little bit of a surprise.
I love surprises. I need a surprise today.
You do, and I think you're going to be delighted by this. But I got back to Arizona on Thursday. On Sunday, guesty bestie Adam calls me and says, "Hey, I need to pick up my new car in Oakland, California, the state that you just left. Do you want to fly out with me and then road trip back to Arizona so I can have some company while I get my car?" And I'm like, you know what? Why the heck not? It's not like I wasn't just in California and didn't just have, drive, a state away. Let's do it again. So we go up to Oakland, we get his new car. It is wonderful. And as we drive back and we're making our stops, we stop by Target, and at the checkout when we were picking up some snacks, we found these little guys at the checkout. They're the little F1 mini cars. There's the collection of 12 of them, and they're so cute. And we're like, are we gonna do this? Should we do this? And so of course the answer is we do. The first one that I opened was of course our Aston Martin little friend.
Yay.
Cute little friends at Aston Martin. And then as we kept stopping near Targets, we decided let's get more and see if we can get more, because I also think that I'm pretty sure that they're on the verge of discontinuing these, so these are not long for this world. But fade in, fade out, we each got ourselves the entire collections. As one does. So we were able to find all of them. We've got the McLaren, the Ferrari, the Mercedes, we've got Red Bull, Williams, Aston, and then we've got Stake. This is the V car, but even though you really can't tell what it is. And then this is Haas, and of course this little guy with the pink and blue is our friends at Alpine. But this is a collection of 12 cars, and the most important cars in the collection for us both, for Guesty Bestie and I, and shout out to Guesty Bestie for getting me the last 4 that I needed, was of course the custom F1 car made out of Lego. And even more important than the custom F1 car made out of Lego is the custom F1 Academy car made out of little Legos.
Love it.
Yeah. So Adam got one, and he made his for himself, and he told me today, he's like, if we didn't both find them in the boxes that we bought, because we bought a bunch and we have extras, I would have given you the one I got, and then I would have just kept looking for another F1 Academy car. So shout out to not just Guesty Bestie for being wonderful, but also Guesty Bestie for getting 2 of these. So now I have my very own F1 Academy car, which is the priority of the cars. And Lego just needs to sponsor us and send us all of the things so that I could build all of the things. So Lego, if you're listening, please send me more Legos.
Yeah. Legos are fun. Legos and puzzles go hand in hand for me to help me de-stress, which I feel like I could really use right now.
Yeah, I built like 4 of these in the car as we were driving. Like they're just adorable little things that don't take very long, and they're
I
great.
just love how different your past week has been to my past week. I've dealt with sick dogs. I've dealt with so much craziness at work, not sleeping. I've drank too much coffee. But I'm glad that you have your Legos, Kathryn. But now we have to talk about something really depressing, and this is the end of my podcasting career. I've decided I refuse to have this conversation. But yeah, if you live under a rock, breaking news. If you don't, Cadillac has finally announced their drivers for next season. They teased it forever. They kept saying it's coming soon, which is so obnoxious. Like, I'm just gonna put it out there. I personally don't care. I think they're hyping up something that's gonna like really fail. I'm not excited for Cadillac, but that's just me. I'm probably in the minority, but here they are hyping up this great American team with Checo and Bottas being announced as drivers. Very different vibes from the announcements of the drivers, which I think just goes to show they're 2 very different drivers with very different personalities. I don't know how well it's going to work with them together, but we'll see.
I mean, I don't think it's going to matter unless they're like actually contenders for doing well.
That's true.
If not, they're just going to have fun. You know, I do expect to see them a little further up than, you know, the back of the bus. I think that we will still have you know, Stake and Alpine there unless something really changes next year. So, but I do think that, you know, we have Checo. He's the serious one. We are back. And then you have Bottas, who's like on a surfboard with an American flag and a beer in his hand. And you're just, you know, but you know what you're getting. And they also got for multi-year deals, obviously, because everything's a multi-year deal.
And I just want to pause on that. I think that's the only good move they've made is signing 2 drivers to a new team with multi-year deals. That means that they're going through the struggles, the rebuild, the launch, everything with the same drivers. I mean, obviously seats can change, whatever, but the like one and done bullshit contract, I think, is such a bad idea for when you're trying to build a team. So I'm glad that like at least Cadillac got that right, because I could see a lot of teams being like, oh, well, we don't know, so we're giving you 1 season. I think it's a great building block for the team to build the brand around 2 experienced drivers. They're the most experienced teammates on the grid next season. They've been around forever.
Yeah, they're the combined age-wise, they will be the oldest duo on the grid, which I think is hilarious that they threw that out there. But they combine for 527 Grand Prix starts between them. Obviously, they both know how to be at a championship-winning constructor. They bring in a ton of experience. Whether that will translate to success in the car remains to be seen. But also, like, who else were like, there was really no other question of who they were going to get. Like, Cadillac is smart. They knew that they wanted strength and experience, and Bottas and Perez are the only options available. Like, you could say that you're looking at whoever you want to look at till the cows come home, but they are the 2 most experienced drivers that are currently not in seats. So of course it had to be them.
Right. And I think, you know, the great failed experiment of Haas of like
the 2 rookie
drivers, like that obviously isn't going to work very well. So I think it's good of them to bring in experienced people, and like you said, there's no one else out there with like proven experience. There are some like flashes in the pan of people who could show potential or have showed potential in like, you know, practice rounds or whatever, but proven true championship level experience, it's only these 2.
Yeah, like I do think that there could have been an opportunity for, say, Mick Schumacher to come in and learn and build. I think that there could, like, that would be the only other one if one of those 2 didn't want to buy into this project, because this is a multi-year project. I think Schumacher would have been good for it, and it would obviously have been great to see him back on the grid. But if they're both available, they're both willing, then obviously it's going to be those two. And here we are, it is.
I agree. And honestly, because I know I brought up Mick as like a good potential, because the Schumacher name is at least known in the US. So the branding, Cadillac is an American team. Like, I could see that appeal. I honestly think Mick is holding out to join Audi at some point, because that'll be like the German team, and like he's German.
Right. Yeah, that is probably the other option. Obviously, he's also in the Alpine system. He's still driving. Right. He's an endurance driver for them, though he's no longer a Mercedes reserve. He's still driving in series with Alpine, so there's still a chance of weaseling his way in there, especially if Franco Colapinto continues to not perform to the current extent, which that is one of the 6 remaining open seats now, is the one Alpine seat alongside Pierre Gasly, both V-carb seats, the Mercedes seat and seats, and a single Red Bull seat. And I do think that unless Yuki leaves Red Bull, I don't think we're going to see a lot of change. I think if Yuki stays at Red Bull, both of the Mercedes drivers aren't going to go anywhere. The V-carb drivers aren't going to go anywhere. And then it's going to be a question of who's going to take the second seat at Alpine, which honestly, we can wait, because who cares?
I think you're forgetting about Lance Stroll. Who could be the domino. I'm just waiting for him to like step away from the sport. He's so anonymous this year. Yuki goes to Aston Martin because Honda's moving to Aston Martin.
Right.
Can you imagine Yuki and Fernando together? I love it. It's amazing, especially with the new car and a Honda powertrain. Like, mind blown.
I mean, that would be the dream. And honestly, I think that Aston Martin might be kicking themselves for not taking into consideration Yuki's contract situation and the Honda situation with Red Bull when they extended Lance Stroll. But
how cutthroat is Daddy gonna be?
That's the question, because and then if so, then all that happens in the Red Bull family of networks is Isaac Hadjar gets promoted with Max, and Arvid Lindblad takes his seat alongside Liam Lawson, and that's just it. Unless George Russell decides to defect from Mercedes and join Max at Red Bull instead of the other way around.
Oh my
God!
Which I don't see happening. Those two as teammates. Oh my God! It would make me want to kill myself.
They would absolutely try to kill each other on purpose, but I don't necessarily see that happening. I do see the Mercedes drivers getting their contracts eventually, and I think they were just kind of waiting out to see if anything weird was going to happen with Cadillac before they're going to ultimately make that decision, and then that decision will just be made eventually because it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, that's fair.
Unless something weird happens with Yuki. We'll see.
But no, I honestly am surprised that we didn't hear more announcements. But like we've talked about before, everyone was kind of waiting for Cadillac to then kind of get the ball rolling. Because if Cadillac didn't go for Checo or Bottas, like they would be obvious people for the other teams just to at least have a conversation with. So.
Yeah. Exactly. So it was a little weird, but I think everybody was also like really excited to have a nice quiet summer away from the sport, and just like everybody needed a break in a way that I don't think we've really seen in a few years.
Everyone, including us, like there was nothing.
It was so
nice.
quiet.
It was so quiet. Yeah. I was almost like, knock, knock. Is everybody home? Is everything okay?
Anything happening here? Like, I know nothing's happening here. That's the point of the summer break. But like, anything happening? Anything? No.
But, yeah. All right. So we will keep you abreast of where everyone shakes out with the 6 open seats, potentially 7, because I'm not convinced that Stroll's seat is secured. I will never be convinced of that until he's gone. But we will always talk contract updates because it is my favorite. One last thing I want to throw in here, because it's, something that I love to talk about, is sponsorships.
Mm-hmm.
So big announcement coming out today. We're recording on Wednesday. Mastercard is going to become the title sponsor of McLaren, which I think is very interesting. We have Visa and like Visa Cash App with, V-Carb, Racing Bulls, whatever they're choosing to identify as this year. And now Mastercard is coming into the game. I think it's interesting that we have 2 very large financial backer
Well, if
or
you think
financial
of this,
services.
this is the third because American Express is the payment processor of Formula One.
Right.
So like within the sport, we are now up to 3, which
we
is
are
significant.
fully covered for our credit cards here, essentially. But no, I just think it's. I mean, I think it makes sense. I'm excited to see what they do with it. I think the orange will, obviously make sense because of McLaren. But we do have another very large corporation, large company coming in to be a title sponsor of a team, which is a really big deal. So
yeah, and also
exciting.
Interestingly, McLaren was the last team on the grid to not have a title sponsor of the current 10 teams. So they're finally, and then we'll see if Cadillac is going to come on as Cadillac or if they're going to be, Fenty X Cadillac, whatever, when they come on. I know we want Fenty to go with F1 Academy, but we'll see.
Because last year Ferrari finally got one, because it was just Ferrari, but now it's HP, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, they were the second to
money
last holdout along with
Kathryn.
Williams. And these teams do need money. I mean, they're paying Lewis Hamilton a boatload of money to drive their tractor. And, Lando and Oscar are not cheap dates for Zach Brown. So they're going to need all the financial backing that they can get, especially since we know how expensive a sport like Formula One is.
Yeah. But it's a multi-year deal. I can't remember the total dollar amount, but it's a lot of money. It's like
I think it's like 100 million.
100 million, yeah, multi-year deal. So should be exciting. We'll see. May not do anything. Maybe they'll do a really stupid car like Ferrari decides to do with HP.
Oh my god!
How many logos can we awkwardly place?
Oh my god!
Until this car sucks.
I almost forgot how much I despise the Ferrari livery.
I'm here to remind you how bad it is.
Thank you. I appreciate that so much.
All right. Well, in the theme of orange, we're going to Zandvoort. I'm excited. We're back racing. This is I don't want to say this is one of my favorites, but I feel like I always get a little more excitement from Zandvoort than I'm normally anticipating.
Zandvoort is just it's a really cool experience. It's a cool track. It's basically on the beach, right off the sand dunes is where the track is. It's so unique, which is really unfortunate why we're losing it off the calendar after 2026. I just think that's so unfortunate because it's so unique, but this might be the writing on the wall of they're leaving Max retires. That's my tinfoil hat theory right there is the Dutch Grand Prix does not want to be in a world where Max Verstappen is not driving for a Formula One team. We'll see.
Yeah, but I know the community of Zandvoort doesn't love it either. It's it's too big for the community, which makes
exactly
sense.
It's kind of like Vegas, not too big for Vegas, but it interferes with
the day-to-day life of the town folk.
Exactly, and this is it's a vacationy beach town. This isn't Vegas can endure, and they will because money. But I just think that the Zandvoort is we did our time. We were there in the 80s. We came back for a little bit because there's this great phenom who's from our country. But I think we're gonna bow out now, which is great for them, but also really unfortunate for us as spectators.
Yeah, but
yeah,
what are you gonna do? We'll have to find a new track to bike to.
Yes, so we will see which European country is gonna slide on in, or maybe not even a European country. We'll see, because everybody is clamoring for the non-existent spaces on the calendar, and so it will be very interesting to see A, who is going to replace Zandvoort, and B, how it's going to shift the calendar around, especially as Formula One focuses more on regionalization to help with their goals of net zero by 2030, which is 5 years away, baby.
Yeah, you know what I'm leaning towards? I really want a night street race in Bangkok.
That would be so cool.
That's what I want.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I mean, they'll probably die like they do in Singapore because it's essentially the same weather, but
that could be really cool. So it will be very interesting to see. And we're actually gonna have a little bit of flexibility with the calendar, because next year we're gonna have Madrid and Barcelona, but then the following year in 2027 it's just gonna be Madrid. I think Barcelona is gonna come off, so then that will be another space for more room for activities. So we will see what that ends up becoming.
Perfect.
Yeah. So real quick reminder, last year at Zandvoort, Lando Norris surprised pretty much everybody, beating Max Verstappen. Lando was on pole. He won the race. Max finished second, and Charles Leclerc finished third. And this was, where we really knew that, among other things, this was the end of the road for Logan Sargent. And this was a year ago was when they announced Franco Colapinto as his replacement, and we had the absolute joy and entertainment of Franco Colapinto's first stint in Formula One, which was done a lot better, or at least the first half of it went a lot a bit better than the second half of the 2024 stint, and then of course his stint in 2025 hadn't been all that great.
Yeah, but it's Alpine. We'll give it to him. I'm giving him a break.
Yeah, I mean, kind of. We will see how things go and how things will continue. I did want to mention that, like, there were rumors that Alpine was a little bit butthurt that Cadillac snatched up Bottas because they wanted someone like Bottas to be available in case they needed to yoink Franco out of the car and replace him anytime in these last 10 races. I think that they will see it through, and if they don't, it will be Mick Schumacher who's going to come in. And it just remains to be seen how much pain Alpine is going to continue to A, go through, and B, put Franco through before they decide to make a change that will ultimately help no one because the car is just bad.
Yeah, and I know the goal is to win, race, go fast, but I think they're just throwing in the towel at this point. As long as he doesn't, like, crash and cause damage dollars, I think they'll just let him have it, because it's like, why? They already have his contract. They're already paying him. Just move on.
Right, exactly. So will we see him driving with Alpine next year? Probably not. Will he stay through these next 10 races? It's the most likely option.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, so for this year, I honestly don't even know what to expect. I feel like we've had nothing going on in the summer besides everyone on their yacht, like, just enjoying their life.
Right.
Like they are, as millionaires. Oh, wait, stop, pause. I have something to say.
Okay.
I'm going to go off track because I forgot to talk about this earlier. So my lovely mother went to France with my aunt for vacation. And they were in the south of France just having themselves a great time. And my mom goes, should I go to Monaco? And I'm like, yeah, you should go to Monaco. So she went and they did, like, this walking tour, but I guess some of it was, like, in a car or whatever. So I get, like, my lovely, sweet, dear mother videoing and talking and the camera's moving. And she's like, did you get my video of the F1 tunnel? I'm like, the 5 seconds and then it was your lap talking. But yes, I did. It was so cool. But she was like, the yachts were so big and so cool, and, like, they told us that Max's yacht was out there. I'm like, well, he's also in the ocean, so, like, it's out there somewhere, but sure, Mom, still cool. Thank you for sharing. And she's like, oh, and the Starbucks mugs were so cool. Like, they had the F1 track, and she goes, but I forgot to get you one because I was going to get it on my way home, and we were walking back a different way, and I couldn't remember how to get back there. She's like, you're just lucky I'm alive. And I'm like, okay, Mom, but... Yeah, my mom went to Monaco. She said it was really, really cool. She's like, I recognized some of it from when your dad makes me watch. And I'm like, there you go, Mom. But yeah,
that's
it was
great.
really cute.
That's so cool.
I know. Yeah, so I was like, oh, I want to go. She's like, I think you'd really like it. I'm like, great.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that my aunt and uncle were at Spa. They went the first 2 days, and they had a great time. They saw cars. They were right on the start-finish straight. They thought it was super cool. They watched the sprint race, which also still weird that we had a sprint at Spa. But yeah, a couple weeks late, but I did have some special correspondence and got some tons of pictures and videos that my aunt and uncle sent that were super cool.
Yeah, but that's my fun little summer break story. But to get back on track, this weekend, we're anticipating weather. Like, there's a very high chance of a lot of rain, which I feel like is very typical of Zandvoort. If it's not raining, it's very, like, gray, sad weather. So this isn't out of the norm, especially for the time of year for that area. So
yeah, so here's the thing. I looked up the weather report that's on the Formula One website as part of their news. They're like, what's the weather going to look like? And they're like, 80% chance of rain all 3 days. And, torrential downpours, et cetera, which is like, okay. I Googled the weather for Zandvoort, Netherlands. And Friday, there's a 25% chance of rain. Saturday is 45%, but not in the afternoon. And and Sunday is 25%. So is there a solid chance of rain? Yes. Do we know just how much rain there may or may not be? No, we do not. And so there is a distinct possibility that we will have a fun wet weather race, and there is also a distinct possibility that this will be another typical dry race weekend. So the answer is it's Wednesday, and I don't know, and so we'll see.
Well, I took the rain into account for my predictions. So
okay, let's dive in.
Here we go. Let's get into our predictions. Kathryn and I are doing so terribly this year because it's been so hard because everyone is so inconsistent besides McLaren. So
yeah,
go team. We picked pole, podium, and P10, and we're keeping track. And we have fewer points than you would expect that we would have after doing this, but that's okay.
Yeah,
good fun. So, who is your pole sitter for the 2025 Dutch Grand Prix?
As we go into the let's call it the home stretch of the F1 season, I am backing my guy for the championship. I'm going with Oscar.
Me too. I love it. I'm here for it.
Which means it's going to be Lando, but we're going with Oscar.
I know. I just, I can't allow myself to give Lando an inch. So
I don't want to.
Also puts me in podium. I have Oscar, Lando, Max.
So do I.
Oh my gosh. If we get P10, I think I need to go buy a lottery ticket because what do you know? Okay, so P10, Kathryn, who do you have?
I went with Ollie Behrman. Why are we like this?
Again.
Yeah, well, friendly reminder, we do not do these predictions together anymore. We do them individually. We do not know. This is the first time in a long time that we have picked pole, podium, and P10 the same.
Oh, it's because it's the safe bets, but it's all going to be wrong. So either we, both get a ton of points, but our standings don't change, or we get 0 points and nothing matters. So
right.
So this is a wash. Cool, good fun. Glad we did it.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so hopefully our surprise and oops, which we don't actually keep track of with points, maybe they're a little different. Who's your big surprise for the weekend?
My big surprise is just in general, we're finally going to have a good race because I am really hoping we finally have a good race. It has been long enough that we have not had one, and I would like a little bit of excitement if I'm going to be waking up at BFE.
Totally fair. Totally fair. So I have that it's going to be a big Williams weekend. I think Williams, both of them had some good time off, and I think we're going to come back strong. Again, our predictions that we've made throughout the season, or at least I've been speaking to, is that Carlos generally does better the second half of the season with the new team.
Yes.
I think now that he has experience, he's had, a ton of time diving in the Mediterranean. I think he's going to come back and do well. So
we can only hope.
Williams weekend. I know we are Team Williams here. And then for oops, I have a feeling we're sharing the same, but just hit me with it anyways.
So for Hungary, I predicted that Lewis was going to have a strong weekend. For Zandvoort, I am predicting that Lewis is going to struggle because I have seen the past. I have learned. I have also realized that you should never bet on Ferrari. So I think that Lewis is going to struggle this weekend. It is not that I want him to. I just think that he is going to continue to.
Yeah, I have Ferrari has a bad showing. So we're in the same vein. Look at that. We 85% share of rain.
We are right there together from hundreds of miles away.
Yes. So it should be a fun weekend of racing, and it's going to be an even more fun weekend of racing because we have F1 Academy, which we have not had for a while. So Kathryn is going to give us a lovely update on where we are with F1 Academy and what we can look forward to this weekend.
Yes. So last time out, we were in Montreal. So it's been a minute since Canada. And Canada was kind of a wild weekend. This was the first time in a minute that F1 Academy has had 3 races in a weekend. So we had a huge amount of points coming through. We had a significant amount of change in the standings. Right now, Mercedes driver Dorian Pond, she is in the lead of the championship with 109 points ahead of Chloe Chambers, who drives for Red Bull Ford, who has 89 points. So there's 20 points between them. And I don't think anybody really expected to see someone like Chambers as a contender. Obviously, she had a couple surprise wins and podiums last season, but she's really come into her own this year. Then in third, we have Maya Vug from Ferrari, who really did not have a great weekend in Montreal and just like wants to put that behind her. And she's a very strong driver. So I do think that we're going to see a big comeback down the stretch from her. So she's got 72 points ahead of rookie driver Ella Lloyd, who drives for McLaren, who's got 67 points. And then Alicia Pomolsky from Red Bull Racing, different from Red Bull Ford, has 53 points. So there's a lot of opportunity in the top five, but I do think that the top three are really starting to pull away.
I love that. Like, I'm glad that we have some competitiveness within the top three. I guess I always thought that this would be more competitive all around because it is a stock car series and like they have the reverse grid. I don't know. Maybe in my mind I thought it just like everybody would be close the whole season.
Well, I will say that they have been. We have the only repeat winner we've seen this year has been Dorian Pon. She's won 3 races, which compared to last year when Abby Pulling won 90% of the like basically did what Max Verstappen did in 2023. There have been a lot more. We had Emma Felbermeyer won a race, Ella Lloyd won a race, Chloe Chambers won a race. So I think Maya Vug also won one this season. So we've had a lot of different winners, and we've had a lot of people getting points, but we have had a lot of people also consistently ending up in those higher points finishes. So that's kind of why we're seeing that. Also to remember that they changed the race points format this year.
Right.
So one race, race 2 is like the typical Formula 1 race format for points. And then race 1 is the sprint race format that I still have a problem with because it's the same length and duration as race 2. So if you're going to give us fewer points for a race, even though yes, it is a reverse grid, which does seem to be working pretty well, they should just also like change the length of the races, which I know that there's a lot of reasons why they didn't, and like, you know, timing and how much the track is available, et cetera, et cetera.
We understand, but we hate it.
We understand, we get it, but we do not like it.
Yes. But something we do like, and that I love about F1 Academy is the wild card. So for those of you who are newer to F1 Academy, or maybe like don't pay attention at all, totally fair, it's new. That's why we're talking about it. Each race features a wildcard driver, generally, I say generally loosely, from the country or region, let's say, that the race is happening in. So for Zandvoort, who is our F1 Academy wildcard driver?
So her name is Esme Kosterman. She is representing the F1 Academy modified car from TeamViewer. She's 20 years old. She started car racing in 2021, and she's the first woman to win a race in the Ford Fiesta Sprint Cup Benelux, which is... We're seeing a lot of like first women to do XYZ. So we're you know, Susie Wolf and F1 Academy are bringing in drivers that are, you know, very talented, who are getting more and more experience in open wheel racing. She has tested with F1 Academy. They've had a number of testing periods throughout the season and has also made an appearance this year in British F4. She will be driving a special livery, which the F1 Academy liveries are just like the best in the business.
So good.
So this will be featuring 200 influential women on the car. They weren't really clear like who picked these women and of the influence. So it'll be very interesting to see that. And she is, yes.
I'm just going to pause right there. If Susie Wolf's face isn't like front and center, then they've done this livery no justice.
I know. She should just be like right there on the back on the diffuser.
Just
like
Susie Wolf.
Just Susie.
We need a Susie Wolf car. That's what
oh my gosh, that would be amazing. But she is looking to become the first wildcard driver to score points this season, just like Nina Gaidman did last year. Nina Gaidman currently drives for Alpine, and she has had flashes of brilliance this year. I mean, she came in, she's like, I just want to be a one and done champion, and she had some bad luck to start off the season and has been a little bit injured. So we can only hope that like Nina Gaidman has, you know, fully recovered and is fully ready to, you know, kick some butt down the stretch, because like she is definitely my favorite driver from the Academy this season and always want to see good things from her. This is her home race. This is Maya Vug's home race along with Kosterman's. So it'd be really exciting to see how they're going to perform. And, you know, F1 Academy has a lot of fun in Zandvoort, so this is going to be a very exciting weekend once again.
Agreed. Well, thanks for the update.
Yeah, and then we do have a quick update for our 2024 champion, Abby Pulling. She became the first female podium finisher in GB3, which is where she's racing in right now. From winning F1 Academy last year, she received a fully funded racing seat in GB3 for the 2025 season. She has done really well. She has scored points in, there's been 18 races so far. She scored points in 15 of them. That said, you get points from 1 to 20. But still, finishing in the points is that's always the goal. But more importantly, she has had top 10 finishes in 9 of 18 races. So very, very solid first start. She's talked about specifically, but in general, like, one of the reasons why it is difficult to like keep progressing in motorsport is money. So to be able to have the opportunity of like the seat's fully funded, she doesn't need to like go out and scramble for sponsors. She doesn't need to bow out mid-season, which she's done before. That's really where the key is coming in for the F1 Academy, and why it is leading to, it will lead to more success, is that we are having drivers who can focus on the driving and
not the money,
and let their performance speak for themselves and bring in those sponsors eventually, but they don't have to worry about that for at least a year.
No, that's something that I love about it. I mean, it's just opening the doors for women who have the talent. Clearly she's doing well, but maybe the sponsors aren't there, the money's not there, so
yeah, so this is really like, that's the critical factor. It's not just that they're going to drive an F1 Academy and do some stuff and be like, oh cool, women drivers, women in women's racing series, but they're also moving on to other series that are not, like, Abby Pulling is one of 2 women in GB3, I believe. The other woman is Bianca Bustamante, who also drove in the Academy last year. She was a McLaren driver. So it's leading to more opportunities for female drivers to move up in the series, which is the goal, is to get them to move up in the series and of course get them into F3, F2, and ultimately to F1.
Yes. Love it. All right. Well, with that being said, we have a lot of racing to look forward to this weekend. Kathryn will give you another update on F1 Academy after the weekend, how the races went, where the drivers are at, the constructors. Yeah, we will have our Zandvoort recap episode out. Are we going to do Monday? Monday's Labor Day. Tuesday?
Whatever you want to do. Whatever. At some point in the not too distant future,
we shall have an episode. We won't pull Hungary. We will do the recap.
Yes.
And then we
Hungary was a
back to back because we go right to Monza, which,
oh my god, I'm so excited for Monza.
I just wish Ferrari was doing better so we could have an exciting Monza again. But
yeah, they're really gonna need to get it together, because like, the Italians are going to riot if Ferrari struggles at home.
Yes, but before we get there, we have to get through Zandvoort. We have to enjoy Zandvoort.
We get to enjoy Zandvoort.
All right, that's it for the Zandvoort prediction episode. Thanks for going off track with us, guys.